And that's game on. We are at the pointy end of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships today. First of all, we bring you the semi-final, Chile versus Krank. Thanks to ULTI.TV and all the crew here. My name is Phil Shields.
And I'm Katie Snellgrove. And before the game begins, we'd just like to acknowledge today that we are playing and working on Worimi country up here in the beautiful Nelson Bay area. And we just wanted to pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander peoples here today, whether that's here at the fields or online on the live stream. Thank you for viewing.
And the game gets underway as Wollongong Krank in red on the left of screen pulls to Chile Chimichanga in black to start us off. This should be a ripper of a game. So Chile quite happy just to play with the disc a little bit in the backfield as they work their way up. They're looking for a no-turn opener to put them on the board before anything else happens. That's not going to help their chances at all. And Wollongong Krank will be very happy with that turn there.
Exactly. Wollongong seeming to, I didn't get a good look, but seeming to put on their classic zone that they have been doing. It's Thea Osmond sends it to the end zone. Kevin Dang is underneath it. Davey's there too, and he reaches. Is it a goal? We're not sure. It seems like it's being called out by the Chile player.
Yeah, the Chile player definitely put his hand out, extended it to indicate that he thought that the foot went over the back of the end zone. You can see it here on the replay. And oh, that's going to be close. I didn't quite catch whether that was on the line or before it. Game advisor is in there. Georgia Suddy, one of the game advisors today. One more angle. Have a look at this. And let's see. He grabs it.
Oh my God!
I think it's...
We're just having some discussion here. Players taking advantage of the live stream
replay. There's the catch. This foot goes down. I think it's just before that line. That's my opinion, but the players can call it the way that they want to see it. And a goal has been scored. Are they saying goal?
I think they're just having some discussion on the field because it is the two players on the field that will need to make the decision.
Absolutely.
Krank opens out with a huge break there, and they're definitely going to be happy about that.
Absolutely. So video replay assist comes in.
And both of these teams have had quite clean and strong passes through to the final. Chile being so far undefeated, topping their pool with a convincing win against Manly that we watched earlier in the pool play, and having a tight game against Jabberwocky in their quarterfinal, coming back from a bit of a deficit to take the game on Universe. So I'm sure they're coming out firing, knowing that they can't be complacent coming into this game against Krank, who have also, I believe, only had one Universe point loss so far in the competition.
Yeah, and that's against the other finals contender, Half Moon. We're bringing you all three games, both semis and the finals today. So stay tuned throughout today as we start our broadcast with this game. It looks like it's going to be a cracker coming from Nelson Bay in New South Wales.
If I'm doing this, it's like I got it, but I wasn't like close. Wasn't a great shot.
As the pull comes up from Wollongong Krank, what can Chile do to react to this strong zone that Krank does tend to put on? You can see here that they've got two players kind of forcing the throw to go towards the middle. And then they've got a player kind of hanging out there waiting for that inside shot. But Chile's moving it well down the sideline and is sending it up into the end zone. Bucks is underneath it. Does she get it? She does.
Yeah, that was a nice pass there from Correa into the end zone. Floated nicely straight down the sideline. Defense had no chance to get that one. As we see that on replay, watches it.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought it was a catch too.
It may have gone out the back. Then we've missed that behind the players standing on the
Apologies
sideline.
for that.
Wollongong here with a break chance again. Tim Booth walking the disc up. Very experienced. He wants it long, but he's not going to do it. Cardi in the middle. Very safe hands. It's just floating up over Osman's head, and she can't get there. Buxer does well to knock that one down.
Yeah, great defense there. And all of a sudden, Chile back in with their chance. They've had one already. What can they make of their second chance here? Get the disc in. It's back to Bleeser. Wide open for the swing. Bleeser goes down the line, not looked at. We come back to Turner. Turner's in the middle, wide open. No one's on him now. The mark gets close to him. That's a brilliant D effort, and there's a call immediately there. So Lavis diving. They're having a discussion, and it's an accepted foul. So Chile will retain the disc. Lavis on the mark. Comes in, stalling one. So Bleeser up the sideline. We're now in the hands of Buxer. Buxer looking. What's going to happen? Maybe an up the sideline. It does try for that one. We've got a couple of players in the way, but eventually the D from Cardi gets the disc. We've now got Booth with a disc. Sends one long. We're looking.
That's Maya Osman underneath it. She just can't quite get there. That was a good look there. Just didn't have the exact right amount of float on that one for her to get there. As Wollongong scrambles to get on defense. Chile trying to take advantage of their slight advantage here. Buxer looks long, but she doesn't like what she sees. Working again through Korea on the sideline. This match defense from Wollongong here is looking tight. The energy is also very high on the sideline.
In the hands of Davey. Osman trying to get free, gets free. Big swing, so could be potential down the break side. Has to come back into the middle. But Davey. Now we've got Turner. Turner looks at the disc. Nothing coming. Inside flick. That's a great look there to Kabai. What's going to happen now? Forces potentially on the wrong side. All the way across, it floats. Can't see who that was.
And that's a turn there. Just missed that catch, I believe. Great movement from Chile. We couldn't quite see who the receiver was meant to be there.
We've got a strong sideline from both teams just in our way, so we can't quite see that end of the end zone.
But Chile were looking dangerous there. I thought that one might come off.
It was the right move to switch sides. Often pays dividends to do that, especially when you're in the red zone. All the defenders are disc side.
Little bit of a bubble from Tim Booth there. As Wollongong gets their cuts moving early. They are working well. Their timing seems to be quite good. It hasn't been too static for either team so far, which is what you want to see in a semi-final.
Absolutely. So Osman dumps it, goes backwards. Early leap. Nice save there by Booth. Down the sideline, very close to the sideline, almost out, but Faulkner keeps it in. Back to Booth. Booth looking. Has to dump it. Dang. Big field cross. Almost over the heads. Great leap. Safe two hands. Booth taking control in the centre.
Wollongong just trying to keep their patient here. A couple of high throws, but there's not too much wind today. So they're managing to bring those down, and Chile gets a hand to it. That was Turner from Chile. This is looking like it's going to be a bit of a grudge match here. Both teams not wanting to give either team that break, particularly Chile going down one break for the first point. And once again, they need this one to stay holding on offense and not let Wollongong get too far ahead in the early stages of the game.
So a lot of turns in the second point of this game. Both teams I don't think will be happy about that. Chile, what do they have in the bag? This is intense at the moment. Disc goes back to Davey as he brings along to the near sideline. Kabai with the disc. Nothing happening here. Dumps it. Davey. He's unhappy with the look. Looking for maybe another handler as we get Blesser comes in. Now Kabai with the disc. What can she do? Work it forward. Knocking on the door. Meterage comes down. 5 meters into the end zone. And we have a score. Buxer gets the score. We are on hold here. Krank 1, Chile 1.
Yeah, great work there from Chile. They had to work that all the way down the field against a quite frantic and high-intensity Wollongong defense. And Wollongong seemed to be doing a little bit of poaching, trying to stop the most, I guess, dangerous threats. They probably kind of have heard how Chile's been playing. As we saw yesterday in Chile's game, they got a lot of really awesome long shots off, and that was definitely a big part of how they managed to take away the win against Manly.
Yeah, so the opening stanza of this game, neither team has really gone big, gone long. And that second point, I don't think, as I said before, either team will be happy with the number of turns that were happening. They'll definitely need to clean up their game there, making sure that throws are accurate, catches happen. The wind isn't a big factor. It's a beautiful day here down in Nelson Bay. Perfect for laying out. Slight breeze, little bit gusty from time to time. Nothing to speak of at the moment.
As we see the great Tom Regacki with the pull for Chile on the field. Down to Dingo's teammate, John O'Keefe, who I'm sure will do a lot for this Wollongong team. Coleman with the disc, back to Ferguson. Looking for Keys, but can't quite get there, is well covered. Makes a good jink cut back. We've got a few players from Wollongong running deep, but Wollongong happy to keep it chill for the time being. Chile seeming to work through a match defense as one just goes a little bit too far long for Ryan to pick up. But there might have been a call on the throw. Did you see that at all?
I didn't see the call. I was looking where the disc went. But it's come back. Regacki on the mark. Ferguson, what can he do here? Dumps it back to Coleman. Coleman, big, high and wide. Keys. Goes long this time. Sees out the back, and again I'm blindsided, but that's picked up by Nichols. Rosie Nichols, great strong run, diagonal back corner of the end zone. That's a fantastic response from Krank as they hold 2-1.
And that's our first clean hold offense point of the game. Wollongong will be happy with that one. A lot of experience on that line. As we see John O'Keefe sending it long to Rosie Nichols, who also recently played at Worlds on the Gold Coast for the Firetails. And there to back it up was Kobe Ryan, but Rosie had it in the bag.
It's early days yet, but is this going to be a story of who can get the first break, do you think?
I think so, or who can capitalise on those breaks. But we know that Wollongong did take the first point, was a break. So they'll be hoping to keep that slight lead ahead. Because it might not seem much at the moment, but going into second half, when they do get to come out on offense, and if they can convert that first point, it's always very helpful. We see Chile now has bit of a mix-up on their O-line. We've got Regacki on the O-line. He was previously on the D-line. Probably wanting to use his expertise and skill on the field. So we see Wollongong once again setting up in their zone, forcing middle. They've got a couple of players hanging deep, the Wollongong team. Really ready for those long shots. As we see, that's with Lewis on the far sideline. Turner over here calling for a hammer or something over the top. Teammates not willing to do that just yet.
Davey couldn't get that one. As said, Turner free as a bird. No one used him though. So going match at the moment, an early cut there. Disc hasn't yet been picked up. Now Wollongong has it in hand. We get the movement that we want there. As it centres to Stoddart. Moves wider, closer to us. Big fake there. Bit of movement in the middle of the field, but not quite as much as they'd like. Stoddart with the disc. That's a nice cut there. And we get Diggins, low one. And very free open receiver indicates there was a pick somewhere on the field.
Yeah, I think that might have just been coming from the stack, which does tend to happen closer to the end zone. Everyone's trying to mark really tight, and the stack is often quite condensed to keep room for those open cutters and the handlers. As Diggins got the Frisbee here. He's going to centre it back to Stoddard. Over to Cardi. Wollongong happy to dump and swing at the moment. Rigaki poaching off, trying to be a threat in that inside lane. Wollongong happy to take the meters backwards for the time being. Really setting their control over this point. Diggins back to Stoddard. Theus Osman's open in the end zone, but isn't quite free. And an interesting flick over the top, and Wollongong comes down with it. Stoddard. Awesome there for Wollongong to get that one in the bag.
Yeah, it was interesting. Nothing was happening upfield, so both Diggins and Stoddart took it in their own hands to make something themselves. Bit of handler movement and then a cut into the end zone. The last throw, a bit unsure, a bit floaty. Really just a wishful thinking, I think, more than anything, but Stoddart up to the task and brings it down.
Yeah, as we just see that replay there, he did well to get the best out of that pack grab. There is a little bit of wind occasionally picking up.
Which made that one into the air a bit more of a speculative throw, in my opinion. But nonetheless, they come down with it, they get the score, they'll be happy with that.
So our score currently 3-1. Wollongong Krank in the lead against this Chile team. Chile probably not too used to being behind so far this tournament. They've had quite a strong showing in their pool games. We did hear yesterday's match against Jabberwocky Canberra team. Chile did come back from a 4-8 deficit to take the game. So they know how to come back from situations like this.
Not something you'd want to be doing too often, though.
No. As we see, I think that's Kabai with the disc. Nope. Miller, sorry. Chile players doing well. Passing nice hard throws through the centre. Disc is with Osmond of Chile. We have 3 Osmond players on the field today. 2 of them sisters from Wollongong. I'm not sure if they're related to Osmond, James Osmond from Chile.
So we have our first zone look as well from Wollongong. Chile just eating up the meters, 2 to 3 meters at a time through the middle of that zone. It goes to the end zone, wasn't quite able to get the foot over the line with that catch. Now they're knocking on the door. Are they going to try and thread the needle? They do thread the needle that time. And we have Korea as the assist, throwing it into the end zone. Chile get their score. They don't want Krank to get too far ahead of them.
Chile did well there. I think that's the best so far that they've played against our Wollongong defence. I think Wollongong seemed to be holding the same kind of zoney shape that they had been doing, and previously that was really putting Chile under a lot of pressure, but we always see this in Frisbee. As the teams get into the game and they work out the structures of the other team, they kind of change up their strategies to be able to work through it a little bit easier.
Yes, it's not just a game that happens on the field. It happens at the very beginning of the team formation, thinking of the coach, what are the strategies they're going to do, thinking ahead, if we are down, what strategies are we going to implement, how are we going to change up the game plan. You have to adapt in order to survive.
You sound like Bear Grylls.
Haven't watched too much of Bear Grylls, I've got to say.
I think his quote, I could be wrong, is adapt, improvise, overcome.
Okay.
But
I like the mantra. Sounds good.
It works for Frisbee. Sorry to any Bear Grylls fans if I've gotten that wrong. As we see Tom Regacki here, once again on the line with the pull for Chile. Can Chile get their first break of the game and bring the scores back to trading? I think they have it in them. Ryan to receive the pull to Ferguson. Chile also putting on a zone here. Let's see how this works for them. Seems like a little bit of an arrowhead style cowra, sometimes called.
So zone is put on by Chile. I think if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for us. Keys with the disc, moving it forward. As slowed down a little bit, they're stuck on the sideline. They'll want to get it more in the middle, give themselves more options. As the point comes, where is my support in the middle? Get it off that sideline, swing it. Make that zone, that cut move a little bit, wear them out. Now they've got it through. Where was the second receiver? Not quite in position, ready for that. Still going through.
These Wollongong handlers doing a lot of work and working well with their poppers. As we see, they are gradually making their way up the field. Wollongong tend to play quite well against zones. They have got a lot of handlers who like to move quickly. As we see Keys once again with the disc, and I think that's a goal. He'll be happy to have that one as Wollongong make it look easy. But Chile did make them pass it quite a lot of times.
There was a lot of passing, but at this level, that shouldn't be a big factor, especially given that there's no wind to speak of here at the moment. It's a good movement overall by both sides to get through the two zone D looks that we've seen so far in the last 2 points. It has slowed things down. It has meant a lot of passes, as we see it again here. Keys jumping through, and Regacki trying to get a hand on that. Rice smile between the two of them. Acknowledgement. Keys came through the better of that one.
So Wollongong maintaining their one break lead that they have for the score at 4-2 here in this semi-final on the final day of the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships. We're glad to have you here with us. These players probably feeling it a little bit in the legs on the third day of competition, but not really showing it. There's a high intensity in this game as we see the pull go up from Lavis. Chile to receive. Centering to Davey. Over to Miller. Chile doing well, playing through quite a lot of their roster, as is Wollongong, as there's a bid from Tim Booth, but Chile managing to hold on to it. No call is made. Miller. And just through the hands, unfortunately, of the Chile player, that is number 39, Korea. Wollongong here with another break chance quite close to the end zone.
Yeah, Wollongong will be very thankful for this. If they can extend their lead 5-2 at this level, that will make them feel a little bit more secure. Still early days though, nothing for sure. Nice wide swing. Where's that cut? Here it comes now. Nice defense though up ahead. That's going to have to be laid for, and just inches away from the hands
of Dang, I believe that was. Kevin Dang just couldn't quite get there. Chile once again with a chance to hold this point. Korea's got it at the moment. Down to Davey. Chile looking red, walking down that sideline. We've got a pick call. Otherwise looking good for Chile there.
Yeah, an early pick call there. See that again running through. As we resume play, Davey with the disc. Comes back to Blisa. And collision territory avoided. There may or may not be a call there as people pulled out to, excuse me, avoid that contact.
Interesting to see how they do talk this one out, because it can be a little bit confusing when there is a collision off the disc.
Yeah, and I also was trying to bail out as well. Yeah, correct. So I was trying to bail out loud. It's unfortunate everyone converges. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Let's go, Red. We're on flick. Yeah, Red! Yeah, you? Yeah, of course, yeah. I don't know where I'll say. Is that where we're Yeah, sure.
So it seems like we will pass the disc back to Davey on Chile. Great grab there from Buxer in all that mess to still keep ahead in the game as play resumes. Wollongong really wanting to stop this, but Chile happy to dump that back. And a shooting shot to the end zone, and Korea just can't quite get there. She was moving, potentially had to jump backwards for that.
And her player streaked away, hoping to find something in the end zone, but Wollongong very happy just to slow this one down. These points have been quite intense. A lot of movement. Diggins with the disc now. Nice bid there. Moves upfield. Almost at the halfway line now. Gives it a bit of a nod. Comes up to Dang. Someone going long. We have Booth goes around, back to Dang. Two Wollongong players in the same place, looked off. Booth again, taking control of this midfield. We have another call.
I think that was once again a pick further downfield. Can tend to happen when the games are quite competitive. And Wollongong has called a timeout here.
Timeout just to slow things, just to settle things, realising that at this stage of the game, a lot of turns are happening. People aren't keeping to their structures. They get a bit tired, they slow down, cuts don't come, handlers get frustrated, things don't go as planned.
Exactly. Both teams, I think, looking well, looking good. Sorry, looking like they're playing well. But both teams, once again, having those a little bit of miscommunications. At Wollongong, we've seen just a couple of times as they're trying to swing it to the break side, that cut further downfield will have two people cutting at the same time, and they're kind of cutting each other off. And then Chile, just a couple of rush throws into the end zone that, if they could take an extra second, will surely be in safe hands.
Yeah, I think that was exemplified by the unsafe play call we had down the other end. We had so many people cutting to the same spot in the front of the end zone. Things need to be tidied up. Cuts need to come one at a time. They need to be clearing. There needs to also be clear communication between the cutters.
As we're playing this game, on the field behind us, we have the other semi-final between Pompey Magnus, last year's champions, and Sunflower, which is also a close game. The winner of that will play against the winner of this game in the final this afternoon, which we will also be streaming.
Yes, stay tuned for that. And if you want more ultimate goodness, check out the ULTI.TV YouTube channel. We're playing the Portugal Grandmaster Beach Tournament at the moment. Exciting things happening there. Play resumes. Booth asking and directing his players where to go as he wants. We've got an isolation play at the moment on the strong side. Flick force. Defense giving the under. We knew there was going to be a turn there straight away. Goes dump to Deng. Booth going to the back of the stack. Now he'll come across. Comes in for the fill. Nothing happening. Might have to go back to the dumper. Dang. Cross cut. Dang keeps it in the handler space. Nice cut from the deep.
Bid there from Buxer to try and stop Cardi grabbing that one, but she had safe hands and was running it through. As we see, Chile have managed to push back the Wollongong offense a little bit here. Can Wollongong punch through as they send a nice flick to the end zone and just bobbles out of the hands of Cardi under immense pressure from Buxer once again.
Yeah, I call those phantom Ds. All that pressure, the layout bid attempt just gets in the head of the receiver enough to maybe have a glance sideways, see what the defense is doing, take the eyes off the disc momentarily, maybe thinking if they get a hand to it, the disc is going to be deflected. They move their hands. Catch does not result.
Good heads-up defense there from the Wollongong players in the middle, recognising that someone was going deep. And
Davey wants it big, goes big, looking for Turner. It's going to be a big jump here from both parties. Turner uses an arm just to help himself, give him a little bit of space, comes down with the disc.
Huge there from Chile.
They are stoked. They needed that. Big spike into the ground.
We've had a couple of quite long points already in this matchup, just showing the amount of grit that these teams have. Wollongong a little bit disappointed to not quite get that one over the line there, as we see that final throw that just slipped through the knees. And then we see a replay of Davies' awesome huck. And great positioning there from Turner in the end zone. He had two other Wollongong players on him. He was hanging quite a while and he's managed to read that really well.
Yeah, great use of the body. Just arm out, just about a disc space, just to give himself some more room. No call on that. So Chile trailing by 1. Score is 4-3 to Krank. Now both teams are ready as the pull comes up from Buxer. About 2/3 of the way down the field. Immediately comes to Ferguson. Nice movement here, back in the hands of Ferguson. We have a travel.
Travel called on the previous throw from Ferguson by Ragaki. Just talking it out there. Can be difficult to call as you're moving so fast. But the disc is going to go back.
So Key's already in an upfield position. Nice cut back. Key's doing a lot of the work. This is going to be a handler set largely. As I say that, comes across to Ryan. Back to Ferguson. Straight up the line, up the middle.
Nichols taking advantage of that poach there to an open Ryan on the outside. Ryan happy to swing it. Are they going to hit? Head it in the end zone. They don't. And a huge bid there from the Chile player. Was that Turner? Could have been. Wait till he turns around. Monumental there for Chile. That was White, sorry, with that bid for Chile. As Chile work it down the field, taking advantage of Wollongong not really having their defense set up, and it goes long. Nichols is under it, but Botham Clark is there too. Wollongong does well.
Yeah, so Botham Clark, Ragaki saw her going. She was at the end zone, decided to turn under blind as that disc was in the air instead of continuing her cut into the end zone. She'll learn from that.
Keys walks it up to the end zone line for Wollongong. He's going to send it straight away, long to Ryan, who's in oodles of space. Comes down with it nice and safely, but not quite in the end zone. And he sends a nice open flick to Nichols. And Wollongong with the hold. Pretty happy about that one.
Yeah, that was a lovely huck to Ryan there. Ragaki just caught off guard, and the put was into open space, not giving the defender any chance to get there. However, recognition straight away that he was isolated. Ragaki got on the mark, but nothing he could do about that.
Both teams here have some quite strong throwers, as we see that put once again from Keys. Out to Ryan, both having played together for a long time. You could think that Kobe Ryan knew that was going to come well before it was put up in the air. And then Nichols doing well to finish that one off. We haven't seen too many big hucks so far from Ragaki that we saw in the other game against Manly, have we?
No, just starting up now, I think, and I think we can expect to see a few more of those now that he's warmed up the arm.
And that one's just going to fade out. Chile calling the brick. Wollongong once again. Might be playing a match this time, mixing things up a little bit.
It looks like it. Davey now on the brick mark, Dang on the mark. Davey, nice inside throw, looking to Turner. And that is safe, so Davey still has the disc. Comes around to the near side. Big grab there by Osmond. Throws it in to Turner, back to Davey. Davey nice and low. Nice movement side to side. That'll score them a point. Knocking on the door, we've got Miller now looking at Davey. Davey gets the score. That's a nice cut from the handler space.
Just classic offense there from Chile. No high up throws. Just nice passes straight to the chest.
What I really liked about that was the quick movement, the quick passes. Defense didn't know what was happening. Side to side, changing up the angles. Defense doesn't get much of a chance to readjust, to know where that next throw is going to go, and therefore what space to defend given where the person they're defending is standing. So we see here that last throw, Miller with the assist to Davey. So Chile trailing by 1, 5-4.
We've got some cool stats on the screen there. Just popped up with the name of the goal scorers. Wollongong will be wanting to ensure that they play a clean O point here. I think Chile are kind of warming up into the game and probably a little bit more ready to capitalise on any mistakes or forced errors that Wollongong do make.
Well, they're still definitely within striking distance, only one away. As we've seen often, though, sometimes one team can run away to get to that halfway mark before the other.
And that's a great pull that has floated back into the field. Wollongong swinging it to the far side to Coleman. To Nichols. To Ferguson. Little one over the top to Ryan from Webster.
Ferguson with a disc. There's a call.
A travel on Kobe Ryan there called. Travels are not a stoppage if the person with the disc is still holding it. The stall count just, or they just need to move back to where they were. But I think seeing as that was, oh, not quite sure what's happened there.
It's obviously been retracted for some reason. So Ferguson with a disc starts play. Now what's going to happen? Wollongong, 5 metres out.
Great hands there. Great hands from Webster to kind of catch that one. I don't think that was where Kobe Ryan meant to throw it, behind him as he was travelling quite fast, but it's worked out. You can see the smiles on the faces there. I think Ryan's just happy that that came off.
Great readjustment, grabbing backwards to make sure that he could reel that one in. You see that here on replay. It's a great dive, great readjustment, going against his natural momentum, having to reach backwards to get that. Not an easy catch. In the end, did make it look easy.
Let's see how Chile will respond here. Wanting to get this O point nice and quickly. Wollongong getting a little bit closer to half. There's a nice floaty pull comes up, allowing Wollongong to really chase it down. And through the legs of Callum Faulkner. Wollongong trapping Chile quite close to their end zone, and Tom Regacki doesn't mind. He's going to send it to Turner. But Matt Lavis with a huge jump there.
Yeah, great defensive effort, and Regacki wasn't going to have any of that zone nonsense, throwing it around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short passes. Wanted to look deep straight away. Saw a receiver he had faith in and just put it to him.
Yeah, we saw a good connection between Regacki and Turner in the previous streamed game. Probably trying to return to that. Although Wollongong doing well to shut down those big options from Regacki for the most part so far in this game. So you see Faulkner walking up to the end zone line for Wollongong. Bit of a poach there, capitalising on it, but it's going over the top. Stoddard manages to keep his hands on it. To Lee on the sideline here. Once again to Faulkner. Sending it long to Osmond. Underneath it. And that's a beautiful catch. And a beautiful throw.
Taken strongly with one hand, making a statement in the end zone. I like it.
That was Maya Osmond with the goal there, the younger of the two Osmond sisters on Wollongong.
So as I said, sometimes what can happen at that point in the game, the halfway mark of the first half, one team decides to take a little bit more control, and Krank is definitely doing that at the moment.
You can see that their energy is quite high, Krank. They're quite happy about that. They look relaxed at the moment.
Oh, that one-handed grab just lifted the whole team. The celebration afterwards, whole team involvement. They're on fire. Call goes out. Just one more red. Just one more.
That is true. They just need to get one more point here, Wollongong, to get the game to half-time, which is always something that you want to get to first. As we see Thea Osmond this time with the pull. Chile looking like they've put a strong line on here, knowing the importance of this point. Trying to keep the game within a reasonable ask for them.
Got a zone look, strong, defended deep. I wouldn't expect any big hucks at the moment. Content just to settle it down, Davey. Comes back to Turner. Really stagnant upfield. Ragaki goes to the back now. Things slow down. I think Ragaki's going to be that target if he stays back there. Not too many can match him. Not on the current lineup that we see in the Wollongong team. And Wollongong switch to match defense.
And it's just gone too far out of the hands of Miller on the far side. That's what Wollongong were looking for. Unfortunate error there for Chile. Big mark there, forcing Tim Booth to throw it towards the sideline. He gets an option from Ryan. Nice open under. Dang with the disc, back to Booth. Wollongong downfield just regathering. Sometimes when the handlers are moving quite fast, and we see a huge bid there from Turner. Good hands from Hedich. And when we see the handlers moving fast, sometimes the downfield has to scramble a little bit to keep up. Wollongong has sorted that out now. Cardi. This Cardi and Buxer matchup has been pretty consistent through the game. Both of them trying really hard to get D's on the other as we have a call, pick downfield.
A lot of red in that front corner. They do need to clear. I suspect if they don't clear, we might get a cut up the line from Booth. Yamaguchi. One throw away from taking half. Dang with a disc. Booth quite wide. Now right in that corner. Are they going to try and push this? There's a lot of clearing. Yamaguchi wants it. This goes over the top to the back. Dang comes up with the score for Wollongong to take half. Look at them run on the field there. They are happy as.
I think we're all holding our breaths a little bit as that throw came up. High stall count, little bit of wind and a bit of a bladey flick, but it's worked for Hedich, who sent it into the end zone there. And Wollongong taking charge of this first half, 8-4. I really like how both teams, Phil, are using the depth of their players.
Yeah, the whole team is being used. Lots of cuts from everyone. And heads down at the moment in the Chile camp as they walk off. A bit unsettled, I would think, just looking at their composure, what their body language is saying. Now, they know they can do it from yesterday, but it's not something they're expecting to do or wanted to contemplate.
No, I don't think that they would have planned to be in this position, but like you said, they do know how to come back from a 4-8 deficit, the Chile team. So I'm sure they'll be having a bit of a team chat at halftime, thinking through how they can not only strategically come out and take it to this Wollongong team, but mentally get themselves into that position where they do believe they can bring it back.
Absolutely. We'll take a short break here, show you some highlights, come back after half time. Stay tuned.
I'm coming from the point of view as after president, which means I am looking at the high-level strategic points. And I would like to focus on development, and that includes a few key areas such as development of our youth. Currently we have over 100,000 kids coming through sporting schools with no clear plan as to how to get them fully engaged in the sport. That includes grassroots events. We have a large national calendar, as you say, but do we still have space for hat tournaments, for fun tournaments, for casual tournaments, for participation tournaments, or have the national events kind of consumed all of those? So I'd like to bring back space for more of that. And then finally, kind of community development, as you mentioned, with administrators, we're trying to schedule a general meeting like we had before COVID, and it's just hard to find a month where everyone's free. So in those key areas, I'd like to include development of the sport, development of our community, and development of youth as potential objectives as part of this review. As I mentioned, it's kind of hard to get everyone's opinion at any given time. So like now, I can talk with people in Div 1 AMUC, Div 2 we covered last week, but to the general person who just plays league, to your coaches, to the people developing coaching courses, to members of the boards, your club captains, all of the people who otherwise are hard to reach, we're trying to get involved with them so that they can be included in the calendar review, so that they can be involved in future calendars. Hi, I'm Craig Savage, President of the AFDA. Please follow the link to fill out the survey so that everyone's voice can be heard as we go through our calendar review for the National Events Framework.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Welcome back to this second half of the semi-final between Wollongong Krank and Chimichanga here at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2024. My name's Katie Snellgrove.
I'm Phil Shields, and we have an update on the other match which is happening just behind us. Half Moon versus Pompey Magnus. Half Moon up by 2, it's 9-7 at the moment.
Both games quite close. I'm sure we are on for not only a close second half here in this match, but a very close final later in the day.
It's promising to be a ripper, absolutely.
What do you think is going through the Chile players' heads right now, Phil? Coming out a few points down on defense.
These guys are used to this pressure. However, having said that, they will have that last game that they played in their minds. And they'll be asking themselves, can we do it again? Or is 2 in a row to come back from behind a bit too much? That's what's going to be playing in their minds. Neither team wants to be playing from behind. Neither team wants to be playing catch up.
No, you never do, particularly in such a high-level game like we have here. Knowing the capabilities of both teams, you want to capitalize on any break chance that you might get as that pull just lands in bounds, trapping Wollongong on the sideline there. Keys with the disc, sending it through to Headage with a nice low release. Looking long for Harge, not coming.
Fakes out Dignam. There'll be a lot of give-go here from Keys, I imagine. Dignam with his work cut out for him. As Wollongong move it forward closer and closer, looking to continue their run into this second half. There it goes, Keys, right on the line. And there's that quick movement that we saw earlier in the match. That quick movement is going to score you a lot of goals, I feel. So both teams need to keep that in mind as they progress. Chile, especially if they're going to be playing from this behind position, as the score goes out to 9-4 now.
Yeah, Wollongong getting around each other. Even though they are ahead in this game, they're definitely not getting complacent. Keeping the energy high and celebrating those wins. That was great movement there from the Wollongong team. We saw the Wind pick the disc up on a couple of the throws, so they did well to read that. See that pass in to the end zone by Keys. And they are extending that lead that they do have against Chile. What can Chile do?
That is the question that is on everyone's lips at the moment.
In the first half, we did see Wollongong putting on a little bit of a zone most of the time. And it was working for them, so we'll see if they do that here. Chile centering it between the handlers. They've got 3 handlers back at the moment to Miller. Moving it quickly. And they've broken through that zone quite well. Well enough for Wollongong to transition to match. Buxer with the disc now. Out to the far sideline. And it's sending it up into the end zone, but well read by Lavis there.
Yeah, nice interception. He knew he had to do something about that as Chile were knocking on the door. And it was actually a nice disc into the end zone, but coming into the spoil of the party at the last moment. So Wollongong kick things off. A bit of a push off by Lavis, I feel, was the call.
It looked like it might have been that, yeah, there was a call where the Chile defender feels like Lavis has pushed off him as he started to change direction in his cut, leaving him a little bit off balance on the disadvantage. The players just discussing that there.
Things settle down. Dang with the disc. Stall count is coming in on 2. This time Lavis keeping it clean as we get a swing. And into the middle it goes. Strong movement here from Wollongong. Looking long. That much is going high, but a really strong grab there by Osmond.
Now we've got Thea Osmond in hand, looking for Dang. Nice jinking cut there. Chile working hard, making Wollongong make quite decisive cuts, and they're so close to getting a D there, but Stoddard gets it, zipping through the hands of Chile. Osmond calling for it, but it goes to Dang. And it's out in front of Faulkner, but he's got there. There is a travel call somewhere on the field.
Early celebration denied.
Seems like there was a display of someone thinks that someone changed direction as they were slowing down or curved in a circular shape, which does count as a travel.
Curve is what is being discussed at the moment. Wasn't called by the mark, it was called by another defender who was watching the play.
Game advisor coming in to help as needed. It's good to have them here today. Thank you to our game advisors for all their help over the weekend.
Game advisors this match, Georgia Sutty and Noah Barwick. Georgia, a veteran of World's Game advising and quite a few Australian national events.
You take it. It goes back to you.
Yep.
So we see that disc is going to go back to Dang for Wollongong. Regaki on the mark. Are they going to send it to Faulkner again in the end zone? They're not at the moment. Needing an option is Dang, and he's sending a flick around, but Maya Osman's done well to read that. Miller of Chile just not quite getting a hand to it there, or not enough of a hand.
Yeah, overzealous there. Thought she'd take the front position. Didn't get off her feet quite high enough. It was the right move, but just not quite high enough for the float and the angle that was on that disc. And Wollongong lucky to come up with that as they take the second point of the second half to extend their lead 10-4. So here we see it again.
This is that throw from Dang, for the goal. Just going over the top of Miller. You can tell she was annoyed with that one, getting out of her reach.
Definitely the right idea to come take the front position. Just ran under it a little bit too much.
And Maya Osman there with the goal for Wollongong, one of the younger players on the squad. Only 18. Recently played this year at the Junior World Championships. So I'm sure she's got a lot to come in her Frisbee career. As we see the pull go up from Lavis. Centering to Davey. Over to Turner. Wollongong worried about the long shot here. It's not coming. Chile may be being a little bit more conservative than they were in the previous game on those long shots.
And Chile, at the moment, they'll have in their mind a bit of wobble there. They really do need this point if they're to stay in contention here. They cannot afford to turn it over and give this Krank team another opportunity to get another point. Picks called. So Chile need to tidy up their stack, need to tidy up their offense. Disc is back in play now. Cuts coming one at a time. And I missed that one.
It's just been an attempted grab there from Davey, and it's just bobbled out of his hand. Bit of a catch behind him as Wollongong look to advance up the far sideline. Over the head of Booth, but he brings it down. And a huge bid there from, I think that's Correa from Chile. Gets it back for her team. Awesome effort. And sending it over the top. And awesome grab there by Kabai. She's pumped about that.
That was a brilliant throw. It had to be perfect, and it was. Just over the head of the defender. Landed right on top of Kabai's head. And they get the score that they so desperately needed.
Yeah, I think Chile needed that one there. Try to claw back at this lead that Wollongong has given themselves in the second half. Score is currently 10-5.
Now, is this going to be the start of a run from Chile, the same as they did yesterday, keeping it late in the game, waiting for the 12th hour before they make their move?
Well, we know they've got it in them. They've got the experience, and they've got the talent there. As we see Tom Regaki on the line, chatting to his team, giving them some words of wisdom, I'm sure.
In the end, a nice throw by Picard. Was that the point that is going to spur Chile on like it did yesterday.
I'm sure it's given them some confidence as we see the pull come up from Evie Miller. Ferguson receives to Coleman. Chile with a match defense. Ryan. Wollongong handlers playing really well so far this tournament, this game. Jaden Ferguson reaches out in front for that one, making it look easy. Bit cluttered in the end zone, so he's looking people off, but then a nice pass into the end zone, into the hands of Haj. That's not what Chile want, but I'm sure Wollongong were aiming for that.
Yeah, Haj doing good work there to get free and to give the point to Wollongong.
I think that was important there for Wollongong to come out, stay composed, and use their clean offense.
Just making sure that Chile doesn't get the run.
Exactly.
Chile get 2 or 3 points in a row. They've got the flow, they've got the momentum. Wollongong, and that's the other thing. We spoke earlier about Chile thinking about the match that they had yesterday and having to come from behind. The flip side of that is that teams in this competition now will know that Chile can come back. And if they see them coming from behind, they get the momentum 2 or 3 in a row, even if they're still 6 behind, that's going to play into their minds.
While we wait for the pool to come up, just a little plug for the after survey. If you have any time this weekend, fill that one in. They're just looking for some feedback on the structure of the current competitive seasons as they are. They're happy to have anyone involved in Ultimate give their feedback there. The link is on the after Facebook page. As we see Thea Osmond here with the pull for Wollongong. Sending it long. It's a good one. It's floating high. And that's Lewis picking up for Chile over the top. Sneaky one. Korea. Over to Kabai. Safe hands there. Wollongong calling for a match transition. Regaki here. Sending it long into the end zone. And we've got a bid. She just can't quite get there, Korea.
Yeah, it was an excellent bid there. Nice lay. Never gave up on that one. Rugaki acknowledges the attempt. Bit of a wave of the hand.
Wollongong here with a break chance. Faulkner on the end zone line. Couple of girls cutting each other off, but huge shot to Stoddard. He's just got to wait now for his team to catch up. Faulkner calls for it back. And sending it long. We've got a player in the end zone there, nice and open. There might be a bit of a discussion about whether the contact from 2 players off the disc has affected that throw and that catch.
So there was a player down, and I'm not too sure what the call was. If there was maybe a stoppage because they thought there might be an injury. There may not have been an injury call. There might have been a call of contact upfield, which affected the defense. Going.
It's like mutual fouls.
Yeah.
Didn't affect.
Didn't affect. I don't know if Jack believes it.
I don't know if it's anyone stopped for it.
Did Jack stop?
It's your player. Yeah, it's probably a goal.
Yeah. I just called it because of that. Thank you. Thank you. No, I think that's very fair. What the fuck? I know. I look funny.
Yeah. Seems like we might have had just a foul, incidental contact there off the disc that the 2 players have decided did not affect the final throw. No one stopped. That was marking Webster, who was the receiver in the end zone for Wollongong. Yeah, he was very, very open there. Good vision there from Callum Faulkner with that nice backhand over the top.
Krank extend their lead to 12-5. The end is in sight for them. Just afraid if I call it now, it's too early with knowing that Chile can come back.
We don't want to give anybody the commentator's curse.
No.
But as I think we have called, there has been a timeout call. I've missed that Chile huddle. They're standing directly in front of our cameraman, blocking my line of sight there.
Frisbee to take to that next level. Couple of breaks, we'll see how we go. So stop what the same move here and give to the team.
Yeah,
Chile! 1, 2, 3, Chile!
What do you say?
So Chile come out of their huddle first. Wollongong Krank still in their huddle.
Chile definitely not ready to give up this game just yet.
It's it.
Let's
These two teams probably haven't played against each other at any point throughout the season so far. Wollongong being, in case you don't know where it is, just south of Sydney, and Chile coming from Melbourne, because the mixed season is maybe a little bit shorter than the split gender season at the start of the year. The interstate teams don't always make it to tournaments before they get to nationals.
I'm sure Krank will, in their little huddle, would have been talking about the fact that they know that they have the strength and the depth to take this home and not worry about Chile's comeback from yesterday.
Yeah, they've shown a lot of composure, this Krank team, and they've retained their focus. I think it can definitely be easy to, when you get it out in a lead, get a little bit complacent.
Osmond goes long straight away. Davey centres it. So it's on the sideline now. Now it's come back to the centre. Nice movement here from Chile. They need to release it a little bit quicker, not hold it up too much, or things like that will start to happen. There was contact on the throw, so it'll be brought back, and Buxa will take that throw again. Someone has to collect the disc.
Wollongong just having some confusion, I think, between the sideline and the players on fields on what the force is. It's difficult when you have different voices yelling at you to do different things. The disc is checked back in by Cardi. Buxa for Chile with the disc, directing traffic there, wanting her dump to move a little bit more. Sends a nice strong flick
Stall
into
count,
23.
stall count. We have a stall count. There was a little hesitation in the call. She did think about it. I could see that in the defender's eyes. That's Carty, Taylor Carty. Thought about it for a second, then called it. Seemed relatively confident in her mind that it was a stall out. So that's going to come back again. Is contested. Coming in on stalling 8. So no time to get rid of this. It might be a bit of a Hail Mary. We do have a free Chile player. Is there going to be a false start? Both of them want to free themselves up. That's the stall out. So well done by Cardi. Well done by the rest of that Wollongong defence. Will she get it back? She's got to lay for this maybe. No, but she's not in. So Cardi now looking for some cuts. Here it comes.
And Krank with the goal there. That was great work from the Wollongong defender, Matt Diggins. Just after that stall out, when he knew that the Chile player, Buxer, only had 2 seconds to get rid of the disc, you could see how ready he was to lay out for his players if he got thrown to, because his player there was really the only open, easy option for Buxer to throw to that quickly. And I think it did put her off, and that's why we might have gotten another stall out after that. She wasn't sure about that first option there.
No, she really wasn't confident about doing that throw. And it was that 2 seconds, just that thought, I'm not going to do it. The second came so quick, stall 8 came. I think in those situations where it's coming back, stalling 8, you need to make your decision super quick, and that is almost to just throw it long or to throw it to the first throw. Anywhere in between that, you need to almost have practiced it. Okay, I'm not throwing it short and then just release it long anyway. It needs to happen so quickly. It's a skill that can be practiced. We don't come across it often enough, I think, in Ultimate, which is why not too many players are sure what to do, and they find that 2 seconds just creeps up on them so quickly again.
Often by the time you've wound up for your throw.
That's right.
Time is up.
Half a second, 3/4 of a second, might as well say 1 second just in the wind up.
As the pull comes up from Booth of Wollongong to Tom Regacki there. Chile desperately trying to get some open options. Wollongong doing really well to shut down most of the undercuts, making the Chile players a little bit unsure of who is a safe option to throw to.
So Chile just making small movements through their handlers at the moment. White getting in amongst it. We've got a few players free. Don't want to have anything too high, otherwise the tall defenders come into play. Regacki being strongly marked by Webster. So Chile still moving it through Turner. Now to James Osmond. And there's the turn.
Once again, Matt Lavis with the D. He's done a lot of those for his team so far. He's just got a call on the mark there. Chile player calling something about a Wollongong thrower potentially stepping into him. Just see a replay there. Players discussing it on the field. Wollongong with the disc. Lavis. Stack looking quite far down the field, but nice inside flick to Faulkner. Over to Booth. We've got a couple of players running long, but not on at the moment. Happy to send it back. Lose a few meters to gain a few more later on.
So Booth doing a lot of work as the disc isn't progressing forward for Wollongong Krank. Booth having to stretch wide for that one. They've been forced back a good 1/4 of the length of the field as everything is stalling upfield for Wollongong Krank. I'm not too sure what's happening with their stack at the moment. And there's a top over the head throw. I thought that was going to be too floaty, but that's okay. It's come back down to the hands of Webster. Booth asking for it again, strongly marked. Booth not marked now. There he is.
Hedich busting up the line. She's very free, but Booth smothered a little bit Regacki's long arms. Sending it into Hedich anyway. And Wollongong managed to come away with that point. They're on a bit of a roll here, is the Wollongong team.
Yeah, they're doing very well. Wasn't too sure about that in the end, but it paid off. It worked for them, so that was nice as far as the result goes for them, bringing it up to 14-5. So now Chile, I'm going to call it. I don't think they can come back from here. Happy to be proven wrong. That will be exciting. but I honestly think it's just out of reach for them at this point in time. Krank have been doing very well. They've got the last few points, and Chile have stalled for a long time at 4 and then a long time at 5. So I personally don't see them coming back. I'd love a comeback, don't get me wrong, but I think Krank too strong in this game, and they've all but booked their berth into the final.
Well, let's see if they can make sure of it on this point. Starting on defense, but as we know, they have been generating a lot of turns from the Chile team through the defensive pressure, as well as getting in the right position for a lot of great blocks. Chile not out of it yet, though. Not over till it's over. Coleman with the pull.
Shortish pull, just over halfway. Chile, they know they cannot afford a turn right now. They've got a good, strong line on. They can win this point with this line. Narayan with the disc. Moves it sideways. Over to Picard, back to Narayan.
Great throw there on the sideline. I see a bid from Cardi. She's known to leave her feet. I think that might be the first time we've seen her do that in this game. Might be saving herself. As Turner has got the Frisbee, gets it back and sends it over the line for Chile. And they are not done yet. I think they can be happy with that one. Worked it through most of their players there.
They've still got more to manufacture. Let's see if they can manufacture something in this game.
Are we going to see a comeback from Chile? They would need quite a few points in a row from this point. It's not impossible.
They're 9 points off.
It would be a mammoth effort, but I'm sure they're probably thinking about doing it 1 point at a time.
A line is being called by Regaki. So they need players to get the D, but then players to get the point.
It's always interesting the strategy that goes into calling lines in these high-intensity, critical games. Because you're right, Phil, you do need to have those players that are known to get blocks and play really tight match defense. But then you need some strong handlers and receivers on there as well to convert once you do get the turn.
Good decision makers, players with execution skills that will keep it in hand, keep it safe from being turned again.
So pull comes up from Kabai. Keys to receive, inside to Ferguson. Over to Coleman. Staple handlers for this team so far in the tournament. Inside shot to Nichols. Wollongong doing well connecting between their handlers and their midfield so far today, and I think that's worked really well for them. Nichols to Yamaguchi with a huge bid from Chile, but Yamaguchi holds on to it. Nichols on the end zone line. Is this going to put Wollongong into the final of the Mixed Ultimate Championships? It does. Yamaguchi with the goal. And Wollongong is through to the final of the Mixed Championships this year.
We haven't seen much of Yamaguchi, but she made a statement there with that goal. Stay with us, though. Don't go anywhere right now. We're going to swing the cameras around and film the end of the other semi-final.
An awesome game there. Wollongong really coming into their own, particularly in that second half. Chile only managing to score 2, but still putting up a great fight. I'm sure they'll be sad to be knocked out, but they can definitely be proud of making it this far. And we'll get to see Chile in the bronze medal match on the stream later today as well. Just seeing a replay of that last goal there from Nichols to Yamaguchi. Bid there from Chile player, but just can't quite get there. I think that was Korea twice in 1 point, giving it her all. An awesome effort from all the players this morning.
So as we come over to the other match, we see Half Moon versus Pompey Magnus. The score is 13-10. I'm not too sure who is up. If our last information was anything to go by, that might be Half Moon that's up, and we have confirmation of that. So 13-10 to Half Moon. As I said, they've just come out of a timeout huddle, both teams.
So Phil, word on the street is Half Moon has a lot of high-level players on it. A few who have recently played in Worlds might be looking to try out for the Crocs team. Coming up against Pompey Magnus, who we know are a very well-established champion mixed club who've won last year this exact same championships. Down a few points at the moment is Pompey, and they will not be wanting to be knocked out at this stage.
No, so not as much work cut out for them as Chile had in our game we've just seen here, but some work to be done to get back. 3 points to make up.
Pompey is on offense in white. Sending it long. Receivers down there in the end zone, but Half Moon's done well to smother that one.
Great leg speed there from the Half Moon defender as he holds onto the disc to bring it back into play. Swung across to the far side. Brought back to the middle. Is there going to be a long look there? And there's a turn straight away. So now Pompey with a good chance. Short field. That's high in the air. Brought down by Pompey. Swung to the near side.
Huge grab there.
That's a great grab in the air. Very Superman on the spot. Grabs it with one hand. Pompey knocking at the door. Around, they get one back to make the score 13-11. Good work by Pompey Magnus. That was a blinder of a throw that was reeled in.
Yeah, that was an awesome effort from that Pompey player, number 29. We haven't got our list out, but that was a great last second, almost instinctual reaction there to keep that one alive for Pompey. James Bray, I think it was. I saw the 29. Pompey definitely still in this game. We're at almost 90 minutes at the moment. So we've got about 10 minutes left on the clock. So we see our resident kookaburra that has been hanging out with us for the past few days on top of the camera.
Chuck.
Chuck, is he?
Chuck. We love Chuck.
Pull comes up from Pompey. Having not been able to watch the rest of the game, we can only imagine that it has been tightly fought with quite a close scoreline. Pompey looking for a break here to try and ring in the game. You'd think they'd probably need to break now, given the time is ticking down.
Half Moon bringing the disc to the brick mark. Now cuts come. Horizontal stack. Get away with that one as it's thrown to Truong. Truong not too sure. Has to dump it back. Receives it again. Half Moon Swings it across to the far side. Looks for the hammer. Hammer's not coming. Movement, small dump. Still nothing coming. Bit of a zone look at the moment from Pompey. Now we've got some movement from Half Moon. Has to dive down to get that one. Nice popping through the cup there. Churong doing a lot of that work. Pompey, big hands. That goes through the middle. Nice gain to Ma. Sideways movement. Coming back to Ma, I think. Over to the near side, Phillips. Zipped through the middle. That was great movement from Lohman to Truong. So, Half Moon gain another step up that ladder to 14-11. One more point for them. They are into the finals.
That looked quite smooth for them there, that offense. Didn't look too flustered. Showing their experience playing in these high-level games. And once they got that to Phillips on the side there, she was in quite a lot of open space. Nice flick through 2 defenders there. Pompey just leaving a little bit too much space for that one.
Half Moon do look like they have a good, strong team. Pompey need to get 4 to win this one. Thoughts?
Look, given that we've only seen a little bit of this game so far, but watching that that Half Moon point then, I could say that even if Pompey does score this offense, it'd be unlikely that Half Moon's going to give the disc up easily next when they come out on offense, if they do. So difficult for Pompey from here, but as we say, definitely not impossible as one goes over the top and it is scooped up. Great grab there, looking like it might hit the ground.
Pompey working it through Maclay. That one goes to ground. They've given it up. Is this the end for Pompey? Let's see what Half Moon can do. Can they make it a clean turn to score the point and end the game?
And book themselves a place in the the final, sorry. Angela Pigeon's under the disc for Half Moon, but she's blocked out quite well by the Pompey player. Could be Adania Alexander. I'm quite far away though. Looks like there's a bit of discussion around that one.
So that was definitely a statement piece, I think, from Half Moon, emphatically saying how they want to end the game.
Perspective, you had a hand on it and there was significant contact when you got point out.
I think I did, definitely had a hand on it, and I think the contact made me drop it.
Okay, alright. I won't contest it, that's fine. And accepted foul. Great, so this will be with you at the front of the end zone.
As we see there, an accepted foul. So the disc is being brought to the front of the end zone. This could be the final pass to seal Half Moon's place against Krank in the final. Pompey looking to stop that, but they do it. I think. Just some discussion around that there. Always a little bit anticlimactic when these things happen right at the end of the game on the goal line.
There might be some discussion about as to how they allowed to move.
Nice man. It looked like you were walking it back to tap it in. It was really weird. Yeah.
Right, so when that happens, basically everyone's stopped, so you need to check the mate up. And you sort of started walking without doing that properly. And then you just went, oh, I'll just touch it down, when you should have actually gone back and had your opponent checked. It's like, that's the proper way to check. So there's just a bit of confusion, but it didn't actually affect the outcome. So,
Okay, well,
So we just like stopped and started in the back of like, it was very confusing. Sorry guys, I'll work on my spirit.
That's a really sorry.
All right. So that was determined that that was a goal after some discussion there. So Half Moon have won the other semi-final, 15-11 versus Pompey Magnus, knocking them out of the competition and sealing their place in this afternoon's final against Krank.
That should be a ripper. Stay tuned for that one.
We'll just leave you with these replays and we will sign off today. Thank you for watching.
ULTI.TV.